Well, this morning, Habitat for Humanity will set up a memorial door at Dilworth Park outside of City Hall for people to leave messages related to Jimmy Carter. Mr. Carter dedicated much of his post-presidential life to building low-cost housing. Habitat Philadelphia says the door symbolizes the doors of opportunity that the late president opened. Memorial doors will be set up in other cities as well. And this morning, Washington is preparing for the funeral of former President Jimmy Carter. Carter has been lying in state in the U.S. Capitol Rotunda since Tuesday night. Visitors have been streaming in to pay their final respects to the nation's 39th president. Jan Carabeo has a look at the legacy that Carter left behind and what's ahead for today's final public goodbye. Good morning, Jan.
Jim, good morning. From Philadelphia to the nation's capital and all over the world, former President Jimmy Carter's life and his impact on others will be remembered today. His state funeral is set to start in Washington at 10 o'clock this morning.
In a snow-covered nation's capital, admirers lined up by the hundreds to pay their respects to former President Jimmy Carter.
I admired the way that he lived a very humble lifestyle as a president.
Among the visitors Wednesday, President-elect Donald Trump, who met with Carter's family before meetings on the Hill.
They were lovely. They were really very sad, but also they were celebrating because he was a very fine man. I knew him a little bit, but I knew him only as a fine man.
The public viewing ends here at the Capitol this morning, when Carter's casket will be taken a few miles away to the National Cathedral for a state funeral. President Biden will deliver one of the eulogies.
We have one chance to get this right.
The Majestic Church is the second largest in the United States. It's hosted 4 state funerals in the past. Today, roughly 3,000 people will attend the service for President Carter, a service he had a part in planning before dying at the age of 100.
This is the heart of what we do, and we're really happy to do it.
Back at the Capitol, lines of visitors solemnly moved past Carter's casket, reflecting on a life that's offered inspiration. Many inspired by what Carter did after leaving the White House.
He obviously reached the highest office in the land, but then went on to still fight for causes he believed in and continue to try and serve the public.
That public service just a part of the century-long legacy President Jimmy Carter leaves behind.
Now, the other eulogies being read today were actually written by 2 men who preceded Carter in death. The first, Carter's predecessor, Gerald Ford. The second, his vice president, Walter Mondale. Their sons will deliver those eulogies on their behalf. Jim.
Thank you very much, Jan. And CBS News will have live coverage of the state funeral today, beginning at 9 o'clock this morning, right here on CBS Philadelphia.